both here on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, triple streaming. Perfect. My name is Carl, and this is ENTP Life. Here on this channel, I mostly talk about real estate, business, and then whatever else I'm interested in. And the thing about the whatever else that I'm interested in is as an ENTP, that can virtually be anything, to honeybees, to aviation, to whatever. But I tend to kind of concentrate more on travel, kind of pursuing my life dreams when it's outside of real estate and business. So whatever those things are, I tend to feature them here on this channel. Now, today's video is a video covering more details on the Eurohome program in Italy. For those of you who don't know, in Italy, they are selling homes for just €1. And it sounds scammy. It sounds like there's a catch. And there is a minor catch to that. The obvious thing being that you need to invest money in that property to bring it up to current standards and livable standards. And you have about 2 or 3 years, depending on the municipality, to do that. So the way that I usually go about these lives is that on Sundays, I release my video of the week. Obviously, since we're talking about Italy, the video of the week is related to that. And this live is going to be covering exactly what we covered in that live. I'm not in that live, in that in that video itself. I had a special guest on. His name is Nicolo. He is an accountant in Italy, fluent in English, and his entire business is focused on getting people to, I guess, services or support for people who are buying these Euro homes and people who are looking to retire in Italy. He has 2 services. One is Auctions to Italy, where they're actually selling these Euro homes on his site. And then he has another service, which is Retire to Italy, where he is essentially providing consultancy services for people who are looking to retire, gain residency, and live in Italy for the rest of their life, I guess, or for a period of their retirement. So those are his niches. So I was fortunate enough to have him come on the channel. I'll probably give some backstory on how we met, and I got him to really drop some gems and information on some of the processes and how you could go about utilizing the programs that are available to you in Italy to greatly reduce your renovations costs or allow you to do much, much more with your money. So that's what we're going to be covering today. Now, for the first 5 minutes of these live broadcasts, I tend to just kind of ramble on like this, just kind of giving some background. A few other things that you might want to think about and consider is that as a real estate investor who's been investing in real estate for 14 years now, I decided to move forward and create a program called Killing the American Dream. You can check that program out at entplife.com. I'll actually put that right here in the comment section, www.entplife.com. And Instagram, I'm not going to retype this, but the link is in my link tree. So if you want to check that out, it is there. So it's entplife.com/killing the American dream, with hyphens in between each word. And I put that in the comment section. I'll flash that across the screen for the time being. Meaning behind that, dual meaning. One is you want to kill the American dream, that false version of go to college. College is not bad, but you should go. Go to college, get a career, get a house, form a family, work for the next 35 to 40 years, paying off that house, and retire old. To me, that's not an ideal life. So I want to kind of bring it back to the idea that here in this country, you can actually think and work your way to early retirement, think and work your way to being wealthy and enjoying the things that come along with wealth, which is essentially buying back your time, having the money and the resources to do what you truly want to do with your time. It doesn't mean necessarily, just relax on the beach all day, unless that's what you want to do. But for most people, retirement or financial independence is getting to a point where they could just tell the man to go screw themselves and focus on what they really love, whether it's travel, whether it's fishing, you name it, whatever that is for you. So that program is designed really to show you how to invest in 1 to 4 family real estate right here in the United States. So one of the things that I do, it's allowed me to build a pretty sizable multi-million dollar real estate portfolio that I'm expanding on continuously. So if you're interested in that, just check that out. And now that we've gotten through our first 5 minutes, it's time to move on to the topic of the day. So for all of you guys who are already here, please just slap a like on this video. It's always helpful. It helps to push the video out to more and more people on the web. So as you're checking in, as you're getting set up, just hit a like, drop a comment in the comment section. B, what's up? Drop a comment, because the more people are engaged and more people are tuning in, the more that these algorithms push the video to others. And it's pretty good to get other people, really get them aware of what's going on in Italy and how they can participate. Okay. So this week I did a video with Nicolo. Once again, he's a CPA from Italy, working in Italy, trained in the US. And he actually went back after school to Italy because he realized that La Dolce Vita, or the good life in Italy, is a lot sweeter than it is in the United States. And it's really that way in most of Europe. There is a level of importance placed on the quality of your life. And quality of life is good food, good time, moments with your family, traveling, enriching yourself, not so much working yourself to the bone. And he missed that when he was in the United States, but he realized that there were some opportunities for him in Italy and kind of bridging that gap between the USA. And he went out and created these 2 companies, Retired to Italy and Auctions to Italy, where they help people get settled in Italy as well as buy these Euro homes. Now, if you haven't seen that video, definitely check it out. But in the video, we talk about how Auctions to Italy is set up. So right now, they're selling homes for €1 in Italy. And when you buy one of these Euro homes, there's pretty much 2 conditions that you have to satisfy. The first condition, yeah, keep looking for that way out. Thank you for joining us. The first condition is that you actually purchase the house. The consideration for the property is €1. So the seller agrees to that because they just want to get the property off their name. They don't want to pay taxes anymore. They don't want to be responsible for it anymore. They want out. Usually these houses are in pretty bad shape, or it's just people who are so far away, they don't want to deal with a regular sale. They're just like, I just want out. I don't want this property anymore. It's my grandma's property. I never cared for it, etc. So you pay the $1, but then you're going to have your closing fees. Those closing fees are going to range anywhere from $2,000 to like $3,500. That's your real estate agent fees. That's your title agent fees, or the notary, as they call them, and maybe some back and forth miscellaneous fees, things that have to get cleared up on the title, legal fees. Just call it that. It's just going to be your transactional fees. So the price goes from $1 to like $3,000, $3,500, somewhere around there, and you're in and you have a home. Then the second condition takes effect, where you now have a mandate to salvage this home or repair this home, make sure that it's safe, and make sure that it's no longer an eyesore in the community. So you don't have to completely redo it. You just have to make sure that the roof is good, the walls aren't going to fall on anybody, the facade looks good, house is safe. That's a minimum mandate, and you have 2 to 3 years, depending on the municipality, to get that done. Right now, I am in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. That was a question somebody asked, where am I now? I've been back from Brazil since October. So, just like television, there's a time to record, move it forward to, editing to release. So you're going to be seeing me covering Brazil probably into January. I have about 3 or 4 more episodes to produce and put out there, and my nursing stuff and real estate stuff. So, there's always going to be a delay. So when you see me in this room, or when you see me in my other set where it's like the office, the rest of the office, the common area, that's me filming from Fort Lauderdale. So I'll be going between like my previously recorded footage and real time. So when you see me here live, it's real time. If you don't see me in this setting, I'm either going to be at home, which is in Fort Lauderdale, or I'm going to be in Columbia, which is my other home, or I'm going to be traveling somewhere. But right now, I am home in sunny Florida. Okay, so with the back to what I was saying about the 2 to 3 year condition of restoring your house and making sure that it's safe. When it comes to that, you have to make sure the roof is good, the facade is good, is structurally sound. If you don't do that, some of the municipalities actually require you to put a $5,000 deposit that is not refundable if you renege. If you don't do it as well in other municipalities, you'll get a fine. Some of them are like 15,000 euros, etc. It's really just to incentivize you to get the work done. Now, for those of you who've seen the videos of what the Euro homes look like, they require quite a bit of work. They're in pretty bad shape. Most of them have structural issues, water issues. They're just not livable. They're typically in bad shape, as you should expect, because it's selling for $1. So there's people who somehow think that they're going to buy a home for $1 in Italy, and that home is going to be kind of move-in ready. And I always say this: the 2 properties that I bought, I got 2 of them. The 2 that I bought one for 5,000 euros, which at the time was around $5,800. And the other one for 12,000 euros, which we just rounded up to $13,000, right? When I'm talking, I usually say $5,000 and $12,000 just because I'm not trying to talk about euros and dollars and start making exchanges. So I just kind of keep it as close to the dollars as possible. And since they're pretty much 1-to-1, it's like 1 to 1.15, I feel kind of comfortable just using my dollar amount, and that's fine. So I opted not to buy the Euro homes because the listings that I got for 5,000 and 12,000 were in so much better shape than the €1 homes that even if I were to try to renovate the €1 homes to my current standards of the properties that I bought, it would cost me way more than what I spent. So it was a no-brainer for me to get that premium property rather than the Euro homes. However, Nicolo did touch on a point that I didn't know, and he actually reached out to me. He saw my videos on YouTube, and he reached out to me to advise me that I'm leaving money on the table. And the money that I'm leaving on the table is in the form of tax credits. The Italian government, and once again, another way to try to stimulate their economy, is allowing homeowners to renovate their properties and actually get a stipend for that, or a tax credit for that. The tax credit could be used to offset their actual taxes, like a tax credit would be in the United States, or even a tax deduction. Really, a tax credit would offset more than a deduction. But for those of you who have never used a tax credit, think of it like a deduction. So the tax credit could offset your taxable income, or it could be used to pay the contractor directly for the work, or the tax credit could be given to you and negotiated with like the Postal Service or a bank or some sort of agency that is doing large volume, that is willing to pay a discount for your tax credit as a way of saving their tax liability or reducing their tax liability, and they'll cash you out for that. So to give you an example, there's tax credits that are as little as 60% of the renovations price to 110% of the renovations price. So let's just say your renovations cost you $10,000 to repair your roof. The roof may qualify for 110%, right? So the Italian government will give you an $11,000 tax credit. And the reason why it's 10% more is because you're going to need your accounting processing fees, and you're probably going to have to pay other miscellaneous fees for like your engineers and whatever to complete the paperwork. So they make it for 110%. Now, there's a few categories that tax credit qualifies for in that 110% range, or I think they call it super bonus. I'm going to look through my emails to see if I could find it, and I'll kind of cover that or make another video on the tax credits altogether. But that 110% qualifies for like 5 or 6 specific renovations. But think about that. If your house, your $1 house needed a brand new roof, you can use this credit and get the roof 100% paid for. And now you're not coming out of pocket. The caveat to that is that the contractor has to be willing to accept the credit, right? Because now it's going to be on the books and reported, and a lot of contractors don't like to work on the books, but they're going to have to report that. Another thing is that it's going to add a little bureaucracy to your process. However, it's free Reno, so you might as well take advantage of that. Now, if it was a 60% qualification, there's also a 90% qualification for your facade. For instance, my properties needed facade improvements. The first property I did, my 12,000 euro facade, which I posted on Instagram today, that's about halfway done. There's still some details, lighting, small things that we're going to be doing to it to finish it. But I could have gotten that paid for 90% had I known of the credits before I started the project. My other property, the little house, my favorite house, that house needs some facade improvements, right? It's probably a 300-year-old facade. So now that I know, I could get 90% of that facade cost covered. So if it's going to cost me, let's just say $8,000 to restucco the outside, most likely less than that, maybe $3,000, $4,000. I could have my contractor draw up the bid, have Nicolo help me out with the paperwork, and then I'll qualify for 90%. So instead of paying $4,000, I'll be paying $400 out of pocket, which is insane to me. So now that I know this, I'm actually going to be covering this in greater detail here on the channel. So for all of you who've been on the fence about should I buy one, what are the risks involved, you now have the pathway, one through auctions to Italy, so that you could actually see some of these online and purchase them online, unlike the way that I did it, where I physically flew there, saw the properties, etc. Auctions to Italy they're helping with that process, giving you as many pictures as possible, giving you some good insight as to how it's going to work, and they're going to assist you with all of the nuances of the closing. And then they can help you with your residency, with your bonus and super bonus tax credits. So I really do think that they're a good resource. And for me personally, they're helping me out so that I'm able to take advantage of this tax credit on my tiny house. So that's really what I wanted to touch on today as far as the tax credit is concerned. There's options that are like 50%. I think there's some that are 30% credits, some that are 110%. So when I publish my video on all the tax credits, you can now have a guide when you're looking at your renovations to say, okay, well, really, how much am I working with? Because if your original renovations budget was $10,000, let's just say, and you realize that you qualify for $50,000 of credits, what are you going to do? You're obviously going to do as much work as you can. And then with $10,000, you're probably going to stretch that out to $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 worth of work, depending on what you do. You do all the 110% items, you get those things done for free. That's free. Then anything that's 90%, obviously you're only paying 10% of the cost. 60%, you're paying 40% of the cost, and you kind of tear out your money that way. The third thing that I wanted to cover before we turn it over to questions is, how are things going with my renovations? So, as I said at the top of this, I've been investing and flipping real estate for 14 years. So I have a different feel for how things go, a different mindset for it, a different process. When you look at my renovations videos, my process is to first start to imagine the space that I want. And I started looking at Pinterest. I started drawing inspiration purely from Pinterest and design photos, and say, hey, okay, this is the look and feel. These are the similar spaces, similar layouts, the colors that I want to use, what's modern, what's trending, what is modern, trending, but not just for the moment, has some staying power, can last 10, 20 years without getting dated. Classic kind of things. That's kind of how I think about how I renovate. So that's the first piece of it. Then I start thinking about pricing to get to that point. But since I've done so much of this, I know the price of materials. Labor costs are a lot cheaper in Italy, so that's a plus. So I kind of come to the table with a vision board of what I'm trying to complete and a budget. And I rank what I'm trying to complete in the order of importance, either because I'm trying to maintain the integrity of the home, or this is something that's a high on my priority list because I can't stand terrazzo floors. Those got to go. So I think, that's how I sorted out. Now, what I'm realizing is that the pace in America is a lot different than the pace of Italy, which could be expected, especially in southern Italy, where things are a little more country, so to speak, or a little more rural in a way. So they're a little slower, they're a little more nonchalant, just like in the South of the United States or wherever it's warmer. It tends to be the case. Hot, warm, people are relaxed. So in my opinion, if I had my crew working these projects, I would have been done in 2 or 3 weeks based on the level of work that I'm doing. We would be in and out in 2 or 3 weeks. It's been a few months now. I know COVID isn't helping. I know the fact that they need to drive an hour and a half to Palermo to get the majority of the materials isn't helping. But it just seems to be going slow. But the overall craftsmanship and their approach, I like. And they're nice, they're pleasant, they're easy to work with. I'm not getting like jerked around or lied to. It's just moving slowly because it's Sicily. But the renovations are coming along more or less the way that I wanted them to. Remember, the smaller house is the house that I'm more interested in. It's smaller, smaller footprint. It has 2 exposures, so it has light on both sides. It's a corner unit. So that gives you more natural lighting and more to kind of play with. The bathroom is larger. It's just a different distribution. I like that house. Also, the house with the view, the larger one, I want to actually redo all the floors throughout. And there's a lot of things that I want to do to that house that I just don't want to pour the money into it. I probably have like another, I don't know, as far as beautifying the house is concerned, I probably have another $15,000 worth of work that I could put into it to get it to the point that I want to get it to. But I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to do that to the small house. And then the bigger house, I'm just going to kind of move through it, progress through it as I want. Maybe one season, spend $5,000. Another season when I'm there, another $5,000 until I get it to the point that I want to get it to, and don't feel like even though it's only $15,000, I don't want to just overdo it, not being there, not seeing it, and then what, right? Hey guys, what's your budget for this renovations? Okay, so my budget this is a question from Randy on Instagram. My budget for the small house was around 8,000, and for the larger house was like 12,000, I believe was the budget. I need to look at where I'm at on that. I think I added to the budget for the small house because I decided that I was going to redo the entire floors and improve the quality of materials for the bathroom. So I'm probably going to be at like 10, 11,000 for the small house. And then for the larger house, I haven't really changed on the budget, so I think I should still be there. So you're talking about, maybe for my small house, total cost of 15 to 16,000 after 17, maybe when I'm all done. The larger house, we're looking at about 24, 25, I think is what it's going to settle at. So, and the larger house is it's a 2-bedroom and a studio apartment, 2-bedroom apartment, and then a studio apartment. So, and then the other one is a 1-bedroom. So relatively speaking, the prices are quite low, and I'm satisfied with that. Now that I'm done there, so let me just give you an update as to what's been done. On the larger house, the one that's facing the cliffs, the facade is about 75% done. They redone the stucco. They've gone with like an aged brick look. Got to add shutters, got to add exterior lighting, and probably paint the door, change the doorknob, things like that, small touch-ups. So we got about 25% to go there. I've repainted the house. Everything is stark white. The floors are still a tan color because I kept the terrazzo on all levels, and the first level already had tiles. The bathroom is about 60% complete. Right now, we just need to put in the shower fixtures, the toilet fixtures, the vanity and sink, the mirror. And I posted a picture of kind of where it is now. So we're almost done there. And that house, I'm going to kind of keep more with like a traditional rustic look. I'm looking at kind of keeping wood tones, keeping earth tones in that one. So white and earth tones, classic kind of older European styling. And that's it. It's gonna be my vacation home for a few years, so I could always change it out and do whatever I want. And the small house is about, I would say, 50% complete in total from the work that we're doing. So we redid the wiring, gutted out the bathrooms, fixed up all the walls, patched up all the cracked stucco on the insides. That's been done. We added some lighting to the wall for my nightstands, and we're going to be doing epoxy resin floors. So kind of like art gallery floors, if you could think about it in that way. So they're going to be like a light gray, almost like that Carrera marble color, but just gray. The walls are going to be white. Bathroom's going to be gray, white, wood tones. There's also going to be wood accents in the kitchen. I think it's going to come out pretty nice when it's all said and done. That one's going to be more like a rustic, modern hybrid in a way. So that's what I'm saying. That one's the one that excites me the most. And now that I know that I could do the super bonus and get the facade done, I could get the outside done. I could get the roof done almost for free. So I'm most likely going to do those as add-ons in the near future, once we, I guess, probably clear winter over there. And that's where we are. So I'm hoping that this phase of construction will be done within the next, I don't know, in the month of January. That's my hope. If it's done in the month of January, I'll probably just do some teaser photos. I won't be doing a reveal until I'm satisfied with it. I need to go there. There's some decorating touches that I want to put on it that I can't really entrust to somebody else. Maybe I can. I haven't found somebody yet that I could really tell them what my style is and allow them to shop and source the decor. I think that's something I want to do on my own. So I might do that in the summer. When I'm thinking about spending August in Italy next year. So as long as Italy opens up, which I think it will be open by that time, I can spend the entire month decorating the houses, getting them ready. I may hire somebody to get the small house ready just to have it available on Airbnb for the summertime or probably in the springtime. And once I get there, I'll film, do the final reveal. But things are going pretty well. At this point, I'm going to turn it over for some questions, and hopefully I'm able to address them. So, okay, guys. First question is here. Comfy Chris. What's going on, Chris? I'm more interested in France. Can you do a video? Oh, man. Yes, Chris. I could do something over there. Probably going to be waiting a few years, but I could do something on that. I'm more interested in France. Can you do a video about other countries with similar opportunities? Right now, I know there's similar opportunities in Portugal. There should be similar opportunities in Spain. There are dollar homes in Spain. Obviously, Italy. I think Greece also has the same sort of problem. There is an Instagram. What's their name? I know their handles like cheap Euro properties or cheap EU properties. I'll probably try to get them on and do like an interview with them. I really like what they do. They show properties throughout France, the Nordic countries, Spain, they post a lot. Italy, they post. Greece. These are all uh, these are all homes in like Western Europe that are selling for $100,000 or less. I've seen houses as cheap as 20. A lot of them are like from like 40 to 90,000, I would say. And the closer you get to the 100,000 mark, the nicer they are. Like there's a lot of homes in Sweden, Denmark, that Norway, that are kind of like vacation homes that are selling for like $60,000, and the condition of them are pretty good. So you might want to, if I can pull them up. I don't know their names off the top of my head. I'd have to look at my Instagram to pull their handle, but they constantly are showing listings like that, so you could get a better idea. You mean euros or US dollars? I mean both of those because I'll just use them interchangeably. Because for me, a euro, like what is the exchange rate on 1 euro right now? 1 euro to dollar currently. Oh, well, hmm, should have sent all my money over there because when I was buying, it was 109 to, let's see, look at the 1 year. Yeah, it got down to 107 in March 2019. I mean, in March 2020, March 19th, 2020, we were down at 108. And then now it's trading at 120. So it's about 20% higher than the US dollar. So yeah, I just counted in dollars and just think of the extra as tax or fees, but I'm usually counting in dollars. Okay, here's a question from Olin. Hey, so I'm an American who wants to move to Italy. I'm not going to do 1 euro house, but rather get a place for 40 to 80,000 in a decent village with at least train. Is this way easier of a process? If I'm understanding your question correctly, you want to get like a standard listing, like a regular home, um, and just move to Italy, right? My friend Davo, who also does videos here on YouTube, he's in Italy. He's an American dude. That's his story. He moved to Italy. He bought his house for like 30,000 euros, and he's bought maybe two or three other properties since he's moved there, and he's buying more. So he buys them in about that price range. You could find, like, when my house, first of all, my house in Musameli, I think when it's fixed, I could sell it for about that $40,000 range. The larger house, the smaller house, maybe 30,000 when it's renovated. So you could find houses like he lives, I believe he lives outside of Milan, like 45 minutes from Milan. So you could find properties that are near bigger cities. Maybe you might even be able to find a property that's livable, whether it's a condominium or a freestanding house in Palermo. In the right parts of town, you may find a cheaper property. So if you don't want the hassle of renovating, you don't want the hassle of kind of being in a smaller town. I think there's the next town over is Aquavive in from Musameli, and that's where the train station is. If you're trying to take the train to Musameli, so that train takes you from Aquavive or Aquavita or whatever it's called, from there to Palermo. So there's options for you for sure. At $40,000, we'll get you something. It will get you in the door. It's something livable, um, functional. Like my 12,000 euro home. If you go and check out that video, that house was livable. Broom, mop, and you're in. It wasn't so pretty, but it was totally, totally, totally livable. So you could do that. And that I paid 12,000 euros for. Easier than the 1 euro home. That is okay. Cool. On Idealista, I'm not even familiar with that site. I'll have to check it out. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see if anybody on Instagram who's watching has any questions. Instagram is such a funny place, man. People pop in, pop out. It's just like I don't know. The attention span is so short there. Um, Aiden Rossini, what's up? What's up, man? How are you? Valerian Steel, Valerian Steel, man. Game of Thrones let me down so bad. I've got the storyline should have gone a completely different way. Um, my vision of how that was going to end was kind of how they ended it, but they didn't end it properly. Was that Jon Snow was going to take the place of the Night King. I think that's the lineage of the Starks, that the prince that's promised has to be a Stark or has to be a Stark Targaryen mix to assume the role of the lead of the White Walkers, right? So I don't know, whatever, man. Um, but that was my theory. How many passports do you have? I only have one passport, and I'm trying to get some more. I'm trying to get my Colombian citizenship. Is going to be another one that I'm pursuing. I may pursue the Brazilian citizenship because they have like investor programs that you can invest in and earn residency. So I'm thinking about those. I heard I could buy a Venezuelan passport for the right price, but I don't think I really want that one. It's not going to help me much. But I only have one passport. What about yourself? Do you have multiples, and why? I did what you did, Carl. Got a house and separate block of land. Not one, but not €1. Where did you get that house? I'm just curious. In Musameli as well, or in another town? Comfy. What do you want to know about France? So B's there helping. Okay. Montpellier. I love the south of France. Everybody loves the south of France, my friend. the south of France is dope. The entire Mediterranean coast is really cool. The energy is good, and the people that whether it's Italy, Croatia, France, Greece, Monaco, Spain, they appreciate their coastline, and it's a source of excitement, a source of pleasure for them. May to October, Greece. You name the coastal European country on the Mediterranean coast, and it is alive. So of course you like Montpellier. It's a nice town, city, or province, whatever it is. I got a quote for property hunting in Italy for €1,600. Do you think that is a good deal? Trying to do it from the USA. I got a quote for property hunting in Italy for €1,600. Um, well, let's think about this. You're from the States. €1,600 is gonna right now looks like it's gonna be about $1,900. 1920 or something like that. Yeah. So it's gonna be about $1,900. If it were me, I would just book a ticket and make a vacation out of it. Because the ticket, I think when I flew from JFK on what's that damn airline? Norwegian, right? So it's a cheap ticket. Paid like $500 or $600 round trip. And I spent maybe like $50 or so, or €50 or whatever, $50 a night, um, while I was in Italy. So make a vacation out of it. Find your own house. Find a few agents, and you're going to be able to find agents in whatever city you're looking for, and most likely you're going to be able to find some people who are bilingual, because a lot of the Europeans who are college educated and working professionals tend to be bilingual, especially within the sales and services, because it's almost necessary. It's almost like the international second language for those folks, or the language of trade, so to speak. So you'll find an English speaker. I would just go myself, because you need to know what neighborhoods you like. You need to know the feel of the town, how people treat you. Do you like the feel? Do you like the proximity to things that matter to you? That buying consultant is going to be, their taste is going to be infused in your purchase. and I just don't see how that's going to go well. So take the 1,600 euros, buy a plane ticket, and enjoy a few weeks in Italy. Oh, awesome, man! Actually, if you can, shoot me an email. My email is listed in my about section. Shoot me an email. I'd love to talk to you and see, you know, link up, get to know you. It's always cool to kind of come across the folks who are buying in, like Cecilia from Argentina. Um, we're kind of like Instagram friends talking about our plans for our properties. Davo, who's in Italy, an American dude. Sean from England, one of my buddies, is actually helping me with my renovations, bringing money in and out the country, that sort of thing. Um, I've gotten to know a few people out of this experience, all with the same kind of wild mentality, right? I think it's attracted to the same type of person. I have no idea, Chris, if there's similar property auctions in France. I haven't started looking in France yet, so I really don't know much about it. I just know that a lot of the homes are in like rural France that I've seen from that cheap property site, and you're gonna be a few hours. Like, and that's the thing. Like, if you're from the states, you look at a country like France. It's like a state. To me, getting around Europe, Italy is like Florida. Um, a country like France is like, I don't know, what's kind of a big state, Oklahoma. Um, so you could drive around 3 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours from North Coast to South Coast. Like, you could get around. Plane tickets are super cheap when you're bouncing around the country. So I think if you could get your foot in the door on the cheap, you should. But I really know that, like, south of France, closer to the coast, as closer you get to the coast, the more it's going to cost you. That's a question for Aiden. Yeah. So actually, we could touch on this, right? So the tax credit, the people who are working in the industry, whether it's the contractors, the notary folks, or the title agents, whatever you want to call them, excuse me, accountants like Nicolo, all of them are familiar with this tax credit. Just like a mortgage broker in the United States is going to be familiar with certain loan programs that are here, like VA loans, FHA loans, conventional loans. They're going to know their industry. So if they're playing in this arena with these dollar homes, it's going to be wise for them to sell you on the idea of the tax credit, because they're already selling you a house that needs repairs. They know that you're going to buy into that. And then if they can make an extra $1,000 off of you for consulting you and processing your paperwork, they're going to do it. So Aiden answered, there was a guy in Puglia that looks at property for you. I think he charges about 100 to 150. So yeah, you got resources there. Let's see what else is in here. Aiden, awesome. I love to see side conversations like this break out, because everybody's here giving up their bits of knowledge. Sergio, Aiden, they're going back and forth. Aiden bought in Abruzzo. Okay, cool. See, I need to travel the island more to know some of the different towns, and that's why I'm going to be down there for a month, or maybe even longer. Who knows? And Kona is beautiful. Be comfy. Okay, this full on. Derma, welcome. Let me see what else we got here. I'm just trying to read through the comments. Full on conversation. Full on conversation inside. Sergio, where are you located? No. This is interesting. Let me see. Da da da. Huh. I'm so shocked you could get so much done for such a small budget. I paid 12K just for a kitchen gut in Chicago. 12K for a kitchen gut is not bad. There's some people getting hit in the head for kitchens. 12K is okay. It probably cost me about 8 to 9,000 to do a standard 10 by 10 kitchen or so. But if you're paying somebody else, they need to make their margin. 12K is not bad. But yeah, it's a lot cheaper because like a construction worker might get 1,500 euros a month as far as the salary is concerned. So you're talking about $1,800 is their monthly salary. Compared to, I'm paying my guys between $200 and $300 a day per man. So my crew might run me 4,500, $5,000 for a 4-man crew per week. Um, Over there, it's that 4-man crew would run me like 1,600, 1,800 per week. So it's considerably cheaper, like half the cost. So he's this is his scope of work. He's fortified the property to make it earthquake proof. So there's like seismic proofing kind of work that you can do. That's one of the things that qualifies for the credit. Um, it's a it's an island with active volcanoes, so there is seismic activity there. So it is a concern. Not a lot of the structure has been done. We will put a staircase in, kitchen, bathrooms, heating, etc. We're going for around 24K euros. And then is that your all in price, the total to get a small bathroom renovated in Australia? Yeah, crazy prices, man. To get a small bathroom renovated in Australia costs you 30K, and you're doing your whole house over in Europe and Italy for 24,000. I mean, that's perspective for you. Yeah, of course. August is going to be very quiet in Musameli, but the coast is going to be vibrant and alive because people are going to be heading to their favorite vacation spot. So, in for me, I'm not going to just be hanging out in Musameli. I'll probably be going down to the southern coast, the northern coast, bouncing around the island, uh, south of Italy, Amalfi Coast. I'll make my rounds, but at the same time, I'd be sitting there looking to position my house. I'll probably do a trip every weekend, or maybe from Wednesday to Wednesday to Sunday, um, go somewhere, and then during the week, bring back materials from the shops, decorate my house, get it finalized. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Agosta Fera, right? That's how they say it, or something along those lines. That's all of those countries. August is the holiday month. Yeah, it is an awesome price point for him. So the property taxes, everybody asks this question, and I want you to get ready for this. If you claim and you move there and it's your primary residence, you pay zero property tax because it's considered there's like a prima casa clause. You could claim prima casa and you pay no tax. You start paying taxes on your investment properties. So me, since it's not prima casa, I'm only expecting to pay $600 a year in taxes. 600 a year. For me, that's free compared to what I get ripped off for in New York. So yeah, property taxes are low. Uh, Cheap Euro homes is awesome. Is is it cheap Euro properties, cheap Euro homes? It's something like that on Instagram. Marjorie wants to send me a message. Marjorie, I will talk to you later. Oh, yeah, I had some questions here. I don't think they're still here. Soflo Don, what's the discussion? I joined in on or too late. You're coming in on Italy properties. Have you considered to open a business in another country, like an American burger place in Mussomeli? Yeah, I'm actually thinking about a chain of like a taco chain. I've been thinking about this for a few years, but since I am inundated with too many damn businesses as it is now that I'm looking to cut a few back, I'm not doing anything else. But I've got a really cool name for it, and yeah, it's going to be a fun thing when I do get to that place. Um, what's missing in a place like that is not necessarily an American burger joint. I would say a Mexican food spot. They don't know Mexican food the way that Americans know Mexican food. So yeah, they need like a Mexican food spot over there. I think that would be good for them. Yep. Let me see what else we got. Well, Instagram, you guys, you could join us over here at YouTube. I'm canceling this out. Those of you who just joined, welcome. But come on over to YouTube, where we got about 10 more minutes before I close out. And that. Because I'm looking for that shared IGTV. Yeah, why not? Just don't mind me. I just gotta post it here, Musameli. Oh, whatever. I'll update that later. So let me tell you that Instagram handle of the company, Cheap Property EU. There we go. At Cheap Property EU. At Cheap Property EU. Bam. So I'm going to post that in the comments, and I'll post that on the screen for a little while so you guys could see. Yeah, €1 is $1.20. Mark, the property tax is called IMU. It's based on monthly rental value of the property. Davo, do you have a link? Yeah, somebody shared that. The Davo _. Davo. Did I keep my US passport? If so, how many? Right now, I only have my US passport. I haven't given it up yet. I still have ambitions to maybe run for president one day. So I might want to keep that. Searching for properties at ENTP Life. Thanks so much. You're welcome, Olin. Yeah, Game of Thrones, you could change the writers. Not even the writers changed. It was just they no longer had a storyline to follow, and apparently they're not good readers to kind of see exactly what was being foreshadowed in the book, even from the very first chapter. So there's so much that is revealed into the direction that Martin was taking the reader through, and there's obviously more to the Stark story than has been revealed, because there's still so much of it that was unknown. Like there was one, not to go get all or geeked out on this, but there was a story of a Stark who ran off with somebody that was living north of the wall that had a lot of similarities to Rhaegar Targaryen. He used to sing. He used to be very liked, blah, blah, blah. And they had a kid. And then there's another story of a Stark that went north of the wall, fell in love with like a princess White Walker, had kids with her, and that sort of thing. So there's a lot going on in that story that was not addressed in the show. That is a great reveal. And there's last bit about Game of Thrones is like they never really dug into the doom of Valeria. How did the Targaryens get their powers? Just like why did the Starks have their powers? There also seems to be some sort of crossbreeding with mythical creatures. One of fire, one of ice, a song of fire and ice. So there's a lot there that just didn't materialize. But sorry to geek out on that. Your name just does that. Derma. Hi, Carl. Does Italy allow dual citizenship like US and Italian? I really don't know. I think they do. I think because I think an Italian citizen can become an American citizen and still maintain his Italian rights. So I think they do. Might be a better question for Google or for Nicolo. He might know better. I really don't know. For me, as long as I'm able to stay there 3 months in a 90 days in a 180-day period. So I could spend 3 months in Italy, 3 months in Spain, go back to Italy, then 3 months in the US, then 3 months in Colombia. So I don't need to stay that long in one particular place personally. I'll turn that back on. Bing. Okay. Valerian Steel. Every time I read the name, I laugh. I have only my U.S. passport. I would like to get 2 more in Colombia or Costa Rica. Colombia spelled with an O. That's probably one of the first things you want to correct. COLO. Columbia, the university, is spelled a little differently. They get so annoyed with that misspelling. Or Costa Rica and France. I've heard the U.S. will only let you have 2 and keep citizenship. I'm still researching. Yeah, who knows? I prefer to keep my U.S. citizenship. So yeah, some people, I don't know if I'm going to give it up. It's who I am. I was born here. I'm an American. That's what it is. Okay. U.S. citizenship is a must keep. Why do you think a U.S. citizenship is a must keep? What do you think is the advantage of your U.S. citizenship? Truly, what do you think is like the big thing with that? I have my reasons for my U.S. citizenship. It's just getting in and out the U.S. easily. But if I were to renounce my citizenship, let's say for tax purposes, but let's say I renounce my U.S. citizenship and I have just my Colombian citizenship. When it's time for me to get my visa to travel to the UK, to travel to Canada, the US, Australia, those that are kind of those countries that want to keep other people out. If I wanted to travel to those countries, I would be able to qualify for a visa. 1, as a former US citizen, 2, from just net worth and means. I'm not going to be someone who defects. So I don't see what changes. One of the benefits that I see is that I no longer have to get taxed by that country. So if all goes well for me, it might be something that I want to consider, just so I don't lose that much money in paying taxes, especially as we try to hedge our national debt that's going to come through taxation. Taxes could be pretty brutal. Arturo Rufalo. Is it inexpensive? Is it expensive to retire in Musameli? No. I had somebody tell me that for let's just say a couple living a typical middle-class Italian life, your real estate is paid off, you could do that for 1,200 euros or less. And he even gave a breakdown on my page of how of what the expenses are. Also, the interview that I did with Davo, if you look at that, it's me and Davo. He goes over his expenses and his cost of living, and he has a family of four. Him, his wife, children. I think he's paying less than $1,600 a month in his expenses between utilities, food, life. That's his budget. So Musameli is even cheaper because it's in the south. I think 1,200, 1,300 US, and you're good. The requirement, though, is that if you're going to retire there and claim like a retirement visa, you need to have $30,000 of annual retirement income or passive income that's like passed through from an LLC or dividend distributions or something along those lines. $30,000 is the number pre-tax. So it could be $30,000 on your top line. $30,000 is the number for you to qualify in Italy for residency. So you're talking about $2,500 a month is what they consider throughout the nation to be a reasonable amount of money for you to have in order to live independently. So $2,500 is not that much, and people are living on less than that. I think minimum wage right now is like 1,200 euros a month. But let's look it up. Italy minimum wage. Come on, Google. You're supposed to be listening to me and know what I'm typing. There is no minimum wage in the nation of Italy. That's crazy. Wow, wow, wow. There is no minimum wage. There you go. Wow. No minimum wage. That's nuts. So, yeah, there's no minimum wage in Italy. So you get paid what you get paid, man. That's rough. Aiden's question at Aiden, I am always on this channel, so I'll keep in touch, but can't really do much but basic research right now. Got to go over there and visit before I go any further, you know. Yeah, you know, that I get it. It makes sense that you go there. That's exactly what I did. I don't think I could have done it any differently. I need to go look, feel, touch for it to be real for me. Montpellier to Paris is about 8 hours. Well, there you go. I don't think it's that bad. And it's like a 1 hour flight or less. So B, I'm guessing you're familiar with France. Are you there? Or if you are there, like let's just say like Ryanair or EasyJet or one of those companies, one of those cheapo airlines, how much would the flight cost from Paris to Montpellier? My R man, who knows? My RI, I think it's probably going to be about 15%, to be quite honest with you, because I could probably rent out like my house. I could probably rent it out for 400 euros a month if I could get that for it. There might be somebody who'd be willing to pay 400 euros, and I'm probably going to be in for like 30K. Let's just say it comes to 30K. So if I'm getting 400 a month, that's going to be 48 for the year over 30K. Yeah, it's about 15%. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to rent it. I don't know if my Airbnb production is gonna be higher than that. I have no idea. For me, that's a good question. I'm glad that you asked that. This is not an investment for me. I'm not looking at it from that way. I'm obviously gonna be looking to monetize my space, but this is totally a vanity purchase. Something that I did that I thought would be cool for the channel. I thought it would be cool for my family. I thought it'd be cool for myself to give it a try. Just seeing property selling for €1, I needed to see that for myself. So I never really looked at this as being like an investment. I looked at it as really just being a passion project. But as I do get numbers on what the properties are able to produce, then I'll let you know for sure. You're very welcome. Derma. Derma Amore. Is that skin love? I don't know. What does your name mean, your handle? Or is that your actual name? Wait, you can make money viewing properties for people? Yeah, of course. You can make money doing anything. As long as somebody doesn't have the time or needs your help, you can make money, scraping gum off of somebody's sneakers. Like right now, I would love to be able to pay somebody in Mussomeli to go film my construction work that's happening so I have more video for the channel. I just haven't looked that hard, but I've kind of put it out there to my agent. Does she know anybody that would be interested? Just show up once a week, film for about 5 minutes so I could get my, I would pay for that. Even the construction guys, I don't know why they're not paying attention. Like why they send me like 5-second clip a week. It's crazy. Okay, here's some perspective on wages. A coffee maker in Italy makes about €1,000 per month, 60 hours. A coffee maker in Australia makes about that's perspective. That is. A coffee maker in Australia makes 4,000 plus per month, 38 hours per week. Crazy. You see that? You work at a cafe, you make $1,000, €1,000 for the month. And you're going to live somewhere. Fortunately, you're probably going to be living with your mama, but you're going to be living with somebody. And then you're going to have a little money to kind of spend on little things. And what you see is that people are pretty conscious of how they spend money. They're really critical of how they spend money. They're not so wasteful. But in Australia, 4,000 to work at Starbucks. Listen, man, I've been a 3-bedroom apartment in a gated complex with pool, tennis court, barbecue pits, maybe 20-year-old building or less in Medellin, Colombia will cost you $600 per month. Family of 4 with a nanny, live-in help, personal trainer, food, everything included. You're probably looking at 2,000 US a month. And that's living like an upper middle class life. Same thing in Brazil. The US, as if you're able to mine your money from the US, make your money here. The world is there's so many interesting places in the world to go visit or to go live and take advantage of, the buying power of your US dollar, that to me, it doesn't make any sense to live here. The only reason that I'm in the USA is because of travel restrictions, and my partner had also a travel restriction, which got lifted today. So finally got approved for her green card. So she's mobile again. She could, travel outside the country. Things are changing for 2021. That's for sure. We get to travel more. We get to see more of the world, spend time out. And I still am able to mine my money here in the United States. So I'm out of here real soon. Thanks, Carl. Thought I was being original about the property taxes. Haha. But that's a common question, man. Don't worry about that. Tex-Mex, yeah, for sure. It is. Hello, great show. How is racial reception in Italy? This question, man. Listen, this is for all my black people and brown people, which we actually are, and any other racial minority in the United States. We have been unfortunately traumatized by racism in our country. Socially, politically, it's historically, that's something going on with us. It's something that lives in me too, because I was born here, raised here as what they label a black person. Um, Racism outside of the United States for you, which I'm assuming you're black since you're asking that question, or black according to the US standard, um, is a whole lot lighter in a way than it is in the US. Go to Brazil, go to Colombia, go to anywhere in South America, go to most of Europe, and you'll start to realize that stigma, that sting, that little like burden that you have knowing that you're sometimes considered a second class citizen in this country is not there. You don't feel it. You might at first be still carrying that trauma, but people are really looking at you in that way. I find that in Europe or in Italy, the issue with blacks are related to Africans immigrating into their country and taking jobs. No different than how people in the US perceive Indians, how the Chinese, not Indians, Mexicans, how the Chinese may perceive Indians or the Thai may perceive Indians and vice versa, depending on where the opportunity exists. Um, there's always going to be tension when there's high immigration. The people that felt it that way about the Italians in the United States when there was the huge wave of Italians coming in, the huge wave of the Irish coming in. They became the targeted group. So when you're looking at Italy, as an American, as a black person, they're going to be more interested and intrigued in who you are and why they see so few of you in their country. They're more interested in that than they are in trying to belittle you. And there's going to be, and last thing about this, anybody who is a racist fundamentally has something flawed in themselves, and they're looking to kind of project their own inadequacy onto some sort of external group, whether it's a racial group, religious group, sexual orientation, something. That's where that hate comes from, because it's like Jewel, she has a song called Pieces of You, and there's like a line about homosexuality. There's like, do you hate him because he has pieces of you, right? And that tends to be the case. That somebody has maybe some sort of history or some sort of self-hate, and they're not where they want to be in life, so they're kind of projecting on you. So I would say don't worry about it. Don't even think about it. Try to even unlearn that racism is a thing, because it's really not. It's not a real thing. It's a social construct that can easily be reversed. It could have easily been black people pushing racism on others. Um, it could be anything, So, or look, homosexuals were highly discriminated against in the United States for a long period of time, and that was almost okay. Um, Blacks, same thing. Latinos, same thing. The Japanese during World War II, forget it. These are things that were happening in the U.S. So there's always going to be some sort of ism, some sort of, I don't know, some sort of ism at work. But if it feels hostile, I haven't felt that hostility, but if it did feel hostile, I'll just pick up and be out. Just like that's what I would recommend to Americans who feel that the racial institution's hostile to them. Go somewhere else where people aren't looking at you negatively. I know I said I wasn't going to touch on this too long, but it's something like, for me, I don't really make it a point to discuss race on the channel, because I think it's a stupid concept. But when I see someone who brings up a race question, it just lets me know that people who are part of the black experience in the United States, they have this trauma and I'm not going to let it slide. And ultimately, you're most likely, you need to be measured by your character, not your pigmentation. That's, to me, it's so stupid. So you need to start thinking that way and say, I don't care about, you know what I mean, whatever insecurity you got, dude, that you feel the need to come up to me and try to belittle me because my skin color is different than yours, man. You have some problems that you need to work out. That's not your problem specifically, AJ. So, that's that. Richard Lago, what would be your advice? What would your advice be to a 24-year-old who wants to do this? To do it, just do it. If you want to pick up and move to Italy or pick up and buy a Euro home in Italy, save up some money, figure out how you're going to earn passive income, pick up and go. You have everything that you need. If you have an education, an internet connection, you speak English, you're capable of learning a new language, you're capable of researching this product, you're capable of working from a PC anywhere in the world. Just do it. If that's something that you want to do, your age has nothing to do with this. Let's see what else. Italy allows more than 2 citizenships. Thank you for clarifying that, Luis. No worries. Let's see, Derma. Randy Williams. Been following for a while. Thank you for sharing all this great information. I used to live in Florence, Italy, and I'm looking to move back one day. So this is a great start. Randy, keep following, keep paying attention, and think about it, just come and visit. Skin Love is your product name. Okay, cool. Just looking through the comments. Okay, this is the last question, and we're out of here for tonight. Have you ever lived more than 90 days in Italy? How can you make conclusions in style of life and social issues? Have you ever lived more than 90 days in Italy? How can you make conclusions in style of life and social issues? Well, I'm glad that you bring this up because I'm not sure if this is a challenge, but I'll take it. Okay. So the first thing is no, I haven't lived in Italy for 90 days, but I've been there for a few days. And in a few days, I could get a pretty good read on who people are. I saw people curious about me, obviously, because I don't look like a local, no different than, a Chinese guy walking through Nigeria, or insert any predominantly black city, country area. Someone who's Chinese will look quite different, or not even Chinese because that's a nationality, but someone who presents as a typical Chinese person. So I didn't get a vibe that there was some sort of animosity towards me. I think there was more curiosity in me being American, in me being in that small town, in me sticking out like a sore thumb in that small town. They knew I was there for the Euro homes. People wanted to engage me, wanted to talk to me, wanted to practice their English with me, wanted me to try foods, wanted me to see things, try to give me advice. When people are that way with you, I felt like these people want me to know more about what makes them who they are, what makes them a Sicilian from Musameli. I want to share that, and that's honestly something that I see in most countries. If you're a foreigner, people want to show you the positive of their world. They want you to walk away with a positive experience more so than they want you to walk away with a negative one. Um, Second piece to your question, how can you make conclusions in style of life and social issues in such a short period of time? You can only make, first of all, on a social issue and style of life, that is a forever evolving thing, right? It's like the shape of an amoeba, it's constantly changing. Your views socially are going to change with your maturity, with your exposure to concepts, with your exposure to people, with your experiences. So you may start off thinking Italy's a great place, but you have enough negative experiences that it makes you think Italy's a bad place. That's just what life is. It's an accumulation of data points. And it just so happens that as human beings, we tend to weight negative data points way more than all the positives. We can take an interaction with 100 Italian people, police officers, subways, restaurants, the barista getting paid €1,000 a month, you name it, and have positive experiences with 99. One racist, derelict, unhappy Italian comes up to you, calls you a racial slur, maybe throws a banana at you, who knows, right? Whatever obscene thing they try to do. And then you may weigh that one negative experience against the 99, and that's just wrong. So for me, it's a matter of accumulating data points, and the majority of my data points about what I experienced in Italy in the short time that I was there, in the people who are working for me on my projects, the real estate agents, the willingness of people to help me. Um, I got to say that my experience has been positive. So with that, that's enough. And I'll keep weighing the pros and cons until truly I have enough experiences that says, hey, wait a second, this may not be the place for me. That's kind of the way that I look at it. Minimum wage is about €12 or $12 an hour. Yeah, sounds about right. And thank you for that. I hope that addressed your question, but 90 days is enough to figure something out. But thank you guys very much. And I really enjoy the fact that you guys are supporting each other in the comment section or in the chat. That's good to see because it's not just me being a source of information, but you guys are part of this channel, a part of this community. And you have a lot of things to say. And honestly, like Nicolo was just somebody who came across the channel and saw the potential for synergy, reached out. He gave us, his bit of information and what he knows. And if we spent more time sharing our information, sharing our resources as a species, we would do so much better. So, kudos to you guys. Thank you for participating. Thank you for sharing your information. Next week's video, maybe it's going to be something real estate related. It's either going to be real estate related or it's going to be an update, a continuation on the Brazil journey. So look out for that. That's going to be coming out Sunday. And then I think for the last 2 weeks of the year, I may not do anything, but I'm going to Colombia to spend the holidays there. And I am going to be in Medellin, and I will most likely be filming and capturing what life is like in Medellin and why I like it there, showing you around, showing you different neighborhoods, maybe expanding on cost of living, the same thing I do in everywhere else. So expect a series on Medellin in probably, wow, burping, man. Sorry, Jesus. Embarrassing. expect more information on Medellin, probably to come out in the springtime. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys soon. Let's see the Regina Polo. I'm Lorena, and the only time I felt discriminated in Italy, it came from an Asian man. Yeah. I've been following your channel. Where are the young people? There's young people everywhere. True tourism is different from actually living in a place, but there are some basic things we could pick up about a place. Yeah, indeed. But I agree with Luis that these brief experiences should not lead us to make a, whether it was a brief negative or a brief positive, you shouldn't, like I said, you should collect as many data points as possible and form your decisions. You mean that's our entire life is data points and analysis of that data point. You can't just deal with one outlier set of information and consider that the rule. But that's it. All right, guys, have a good night. See you again probably next Wednesday. And I think that I will be. I may be going live from Medellin. So don't forget to have a vegan taco option, of course, just for you, Sergio. Just for you. Take care. Bye bye.